everybody, I'm Delicia and thanks for tuning in to another fun Cigar Vixen review. This time taking a look at the Padilla Lost Chapter. This is the newest release from Padilla Cigars. This one has been featured in a custom specialized six-pack that was offered, I believe it was 2 Sundays ago now, through Padilla's website, where he ran a crazy deal on these special 6 cigars. This one was included in that 6-pack. Not sure if they're available, but you could always try and jump on for that. At the end of this video, I will be telling you about another special little 5-pack that he's put together for my good friends and viewers, all of you watching who may be interested, because there seemed to be a lot of chatter around this cigar. So I also featured this one in my top 5 last Sunday, just because, again, there's been a lot of chatter and talk and questions from a lot of you regarding the new release from Padilla. It's always exciting to watch companies release new cigars, kind of learn the backstory, try them out. This one is beautiful. It's really impressive how it's made, first of all. Before getting into a little bit about it, it's just taking a closer look at it. Has like that nice little cap on it. Kind of looks like it's not quite a triple cap, but it's close to it. It's kind of looks like maybe just like maybe a double cap, but it has that little fan tail. Kind of reminds me of a Bahique, but it definitely has a very Cuban flair to the look of the cigar. Even the band, the simplicity of the band, it's very straightforward. It's not really loud. It's not like all kinds of craziness going on to it. It's just, again, pretty straightforward. Lets you know that it's been handmade in Nicaragua. Just the name, the branding is very kind of, neutral, if you will, but it has enough of a presence that it gets your attention. But again, has a very Cuban kind of flair to it. So I really enjoyed how they took that extra time to roll that special little kind of like that fan tail on the head of the cigar. I was noticing earlier when I was kind of just nosing the cigar that it has a faint floral note to it. Again, just nosing the wrapper, even the foot, you pick up a little bit of a kind of just a light floral, but then a little background of barnyard. So it's kind of like the floral is on the outer layer of it, and then that little bit of barnyard is kind of underneath it that you can pick up on that aroma. The blend itself was a little bit of a mystery. We know like some of the components, but it's not like detailed as far as like, this is the wrapper, this is the binder, this is the filler. It's rather, again, kind of somewhat of a mystery. I know that it's made at a newer factory in Nicaragua. So it is featuring tobacco from the Ometepe region of Nicaragua, which is one of the very few places in Nicaragua which I have not traveled to. Definitely on my bucket list. I've seen gorgeous pictures. I've heard wonderful stories. And of course, that tobacco, it's not a large amount that's grown there, but it's a very sought after tobacco. Again, coming from this super rich, I believe there's twin volcanoes, if I'm not mistaken, on this particular island. It's just outside of Lake Nicaragua, or kind of like bordering Lake Nicaragua, but Ometepe is supposed to be just incredible. And it's, again, on my bucket list of places that I really want to visit. I'd love to just go there and like hang out and have a coffee and have the tobacco freshly rolled like right there so I could taste it. It's one of those things. But this cigar is featuring some of that. So that is what we know about the blend, as well as it's using somewhere in the whole component of things a higher priming Habano seed grown in Jalapa, and then there's some Corojo in here as well. So it right off the bat, that tells me it's going to have those little nuances of sweetness, especially, again, knowing that it has tobacco from that Ometepe region. It has known to have more of the sweeter, earthy kind of mixture of flavor notes on there. So again, this one is a very special cigar. Newer. That's always exciting to see what's new, and again, especially when somebody makes it well and you know that it's a good stick. So again, now this is probably the 3rd mention that I'm doing with this particular cigar. I'm going to go ahead and take the cap here. And it has a nice little sweetness just to that cold draw. Little hint of earthiness, but it's subtle. It's definitely masked by the sweetness that comes out. Apparently my torch is on like the highest possible setting. I'm definitely in the market for some new lighters. I'm getting kind of over some of the lighters that I have that are just not behaving very well. I think I've used them too much. It's time for some newer ones. That aroma is gorgeous. It's like a little bit of coffee, caramelized sugar aroma floating around there. Just not even taking a puff, but just toasting the foot. How anyone could not smoke cigars, I don't know. I don't get it. Wow. So very first puff, again, I will give you that assessment because I think it's important, unlike some people that like to get into it a little bit more. Very first puff, it's like a toasted graham cracker sweetness. There's, again, like the toasted something component. So whether it's a graham cracker, that doesn't make sense that it be toasted. So I'm going to say graham cracker for the little bit of that sweetness, but then the toasted, kind of like a toasted piece of bread or something, that it has that nice element with a nuttiness. So that's just the first puff. I mean, this is amazing. This is one of those cigars that it's like, this tastes like something else that I like, and I can't, it's gonna drive me crazy because right now I can't pinpoint what that is, but it has a very familiar something. Really good, like right off the bat. This is something, I was on a conversation, I was doing, a FaceTime call kind of a thing on another cigar platform. We were talking about that. We were talking about how, somebody asked the question of both of us that had either one of us ever smoked a bad cigar, one that we had to put down. And it was like, yeah, of course. I mean, that's happened. It's unfortunate when that happens, but it's really important that that very first initial few puffs draw you in. If they don't, it's like kind of like ruins the experience. So this one, the reason I bring that up is this one, within the first like 1 to 2 puffs, you're just like immediately drawn in because it has this factor of the perfect amount of toasted sweetness, almost like toasted sugar, like if you were toasting a little bit real lightly in a pan and you had that little toasted sugar and then like a little bit of nuttiness and then a toasted bread or something. I don't know, I'm getting all of those feelings in with just the first couple puffs of it. Wow. And again, it's familiar. And not because I've been smoking it recently, not that kind of familiar. It's familiar of like, this reminds me of something else and I can't quite think about it, like what it is. It's not, I can't pinpoint it. Of course it's different, but there's a certain part of like some of the tobacco or something in the blend that's familiar, which I like when that happens. It's kind of like a nostalgic feeling of like, oh, I like this. Even if it's newer and it's something that I'm like not as familiar with smoking, it's just, it has something that just says kind of like, hey, welcome, come smoke me, you know me, kind of a thing. It has that element to it, but it's really nice. And what I've seen, this is now the 5th one of these that I'm smoking. Every time that I've smoked it, burn line's good, haven't had to touch it up. So there's zero issue as far as how it's constructed. Again, this being the 5th one now that I've smoked, the construction factor is spot on, which is nice. Oh, that's lovely. And the aroma. I still am waiting for one of you guys to invent this thing that I could share where you could like send the aroma through the camera. Wouldn't that be cool? Like a digital aroma feeling, sharing something. Because the aroma on this is just amazing. It's very inviting, very welcoming. Again, one of those cigars that if you happen to be smoking in a place where there are non-cigar people, they wouldn't be bothered by it. They'd actually be like intrigued, like, oh wow, that smells so good. What is that kind of a thing? It has that, as opposed to like those pungent types of, cigars that are out there. This is not that way. It's very welcoming, has a beautiful aroma to it. Yeah, very nice. I like this one a lot. And again, 5th time around, now I'm actually paying a little bit closer attention to these little nuances. The very first time I smoked this cigar, I had it, I was somewhere, I wasn't home. And so I was drinking bourbon. And so I was like, yeah, let me try this one. And actually, because I was having that as a pairing, not really trying to, just it happened to be a cigar that I had, and I had already ordered like the bourbon. I had it with Basil Hayden, and it was fantastic. So just in case you're somebody that's a bourbon lover and you're looking for, a nice cigar to put with it, if you like Basil Hayden on the rocks, this goes really nicely with it. I don't know. Again, it wasn't on purpose. It was just kind of like one of those things that happened to have together, and it was really nice. But that was the first time I smoked this cigar. So again, being the 5th time now, I'm paying closer attention to those little nuances, and I'm excited to share those with you. So stay tuned. I'm going to come back in for the right around the 2nd, 3rd to talk about the flavors. All right, so coming back in, I don't know, right around a little past the halfway point, so kind of coming out of the 2nd, 3rd almost. You know what? This cigar is really damn good. Again, 5th time around now, really dedicating time to like fully sit quietly and like pay attention to all the little nuances of it. If I had to describe it like in anything that would kind of translate to a lot of you, I don't know, old school smokers or even just avid cigar smokers, it's kind of like a throwback to like the old school Cuban style. It just has a lot of those flavor notes. It's not a very strong cigar, but it still delivers enough where it keeps you entertained, if you will. Like it's not boring, in other words. It's not something that is overpowering in the strength, but again, it's like a nice solid medium. To me, it's like a really solid hit the nail on the head right at the medium level. It's something that you could smoke in the morning with coffee for sure. Definitely a Cuban coffee smoke. This would be fun to do like Padilla style, because he's always telling me how he makes like a really good Cuban coffee. We'll have to see next time I, cross paths with him in person, like challenge him to that. But I could definitely see putting this with a straight up Cuban coffee, enjoying this in the morning, mid-morning, early afternoon even. But like I said, the first time around I had it with bourbon and it was really nice too. So you can definitely smoke it on its own, obviously. But if you're somebody that's looking for like, the pairings or what to do with it that way, those are a couple recommendations right off the bat. But yeah, it just has this underlying sweetness, and it's kind of like it's like the subtleties of the sweetness, like the caramelized sugars, almost like sugar cane. It just has these little nuances of that sugar element there to give it that nice sweetness. And then there's like a little subtle spice kind of after the fact, like after you take a couple puffs, you kind of get a little bit of like a muted black pepper taste in the background. And then you pick up a little bit of like an earthiness. It's kind of subtle. But again, all of these are really just wrapped together very nicely. It's a good stick, guys. If you didn't have it, like if you didn't try the sampler pack, again, I'll wait till the very end of the video to tell you how you can pick some of these up. But dude, these are really, really good. So I'm gonna just continue to enjoy this and smoke it down a little bit more and check back in one last time for that final little bit. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to get my little tool here to poke the side of it and smoke it down to the very nub, because it's smoking just beautifully too. And I like the fact that I always say this also, I tend to smoke cigars, especially when I'm doing reviews for some reason. I have this tendency to smoke them a little bit faster than I probably should. And even in doing that with this nice little shape here, this Robusto, it's not overheating. It's not getting warm. It's not getting like, you know, where it's off-putting and changing the flavor of the tobacco. So definitely don't smoke like I do. Take your time when you smoke. Don't smoke fast. I have this bad tendency to do that. But again, even doing so, it's not like altering this cigar. It's really just delivering nice flavors, and it's yeah, it's just coming through. You could see that it's rolled well. I mean, that's one of the things that, again, having smoked it now several times, that part is consistent, has been consistent each time, which is great. But yeah, so I'm gonna smoke it down a little bit more, check in one last time, and tell you about this really cool special that is gonna be going on as you're watching this video here on Padilla Cigars. Well, you can tell I didn't like it. Psych, look at that thing. Oh my goodness, this is the perfect tool. I love this thing. So, yeah, if it's good. It's really, really good, actually. I'm smoking it down as much as possible just because, wow, this cigar really, like as I mentioned it now, like multiple times, 5th time around, really paying attention, having it, you know, fully clean palette, just water, nothing else to kind of like change any element of it. It's just really good. It's bugging me because it's reminding me of something like, you know, when you meet somebody new that reminds you of somebody else that you know. It's kind of like one of those things where you know it's not that person, but it like reminds you of somebody. Kind of has that going on. It just really tastes good. This is a really well-made cigar, and the flavors are just amazing, and the aroma is fantastic. Again, it kind of has that Cuban-esque kind of ode to like old throwback Cubans. It kind of has some of that, but it also, it's made very well, and it has a lot of like nuances of Nicaragua in it, obviously, with the tobacco. I mean, the flavors haven't changed a ton from the last time that I checked in. However, it's kind of like a song like that you really like that you just turn it up a little bit. Like that's kind of what this one did. So you turned it up a little bit and all those flavors got a little louder. So a little more sweetness, a little bit more earthiness, a little bit more nutty. All of that kind of came, again, turned up a little bit towards this final third, but just really good. It smokes like a champ. I mean, haven't had any issues with the burn line, with having to relight it, anything like that. It's just, I'm impressed. So now the good part. This cigar normally is, one, I think it's somewhat limited from what I was looking at on his website. It's normally like in the price range of $9 to possibly a little higher than that. However, doing this little fun video and bugging him a little bit more, like, hey, come on, I know we just did something, but let's do something again. He's offering a 5-pack of these for $35. That's a steal. I would actually pay the $9. Heck, I would pay like $10 or $11, or I don't even know. But this is a really, really good cigar. So right now, if you get the 5-pack, you're paying $7 for this cigar. It's almost like it's almost insulting. To be honest with you, it's a really good stick. $7 is a hell of a deal. Definitely one that, I mean, this is a great time to buy a couple of them, keep some for yourself, hold on to some for like right around the corner. We have holidays, things like that. This is a great gift because, again, as I mentioned, it's falling true to like a really nice medium profile. So if you're gifting it to somebody that you're not sure like what kind of cigars they like to smoke, or if they even smoke frequently, or, you know, whatever the case may be, this is a nice place to be. You don't want to give somebody a cigar that is like going to be too strong for them, or on the flip side, something that's just boring and kind of mild. This is a really nice middle of the road kind of safe for all smoker kind of a thing. Again, it gets your attention because it does have those different transitions. It's balanced, but it smokes beautifully. So this is a great way to like introduce somebody even to cigars, because again, it's not going to be overpowering. It has tremendous flavor, beautiful aroma, and it pairs easily with, for sure, for coffee and also bourbon. You could probably do some other stuff with it too, but again, those are the two that I've tried with it. I haven't tried the Cuban coffee, but that's definitely something that I'm going to try to mess around with and make a Cuban coffee and have this as a pairing, because I think it would just bring out like that the little nuances of the sweet, the little caramelized sugar, the coffee would bring that out even more. So definitely a great stick. I'm really excited. As I mentioned it, I've had it on the last top 5. I had it on the special promo pack that we did, but this is just a standalone thing. You can get 5 of them, again, directly off of the Padilla Cigar website. And check my Instagram. I'll post a direct link on there, so you can jump on my Instagram, which is @CigarVixen, and I'll put the link in the bio so you could click right on it and be connected right to the page that has these if you're interested in getting them. But definitely a great cigar, and again, steal of a price that he's offering it at. I love when he does that. Thank you guys to all of you that take advantage of the promos that we do, and I know Ernesto's had really good feedback as far as you guys, emailing him with really nice comments and just that you really enjoyed the cigars. So keep that up, and thanks so much for doing that. Be sure to post your pictures, tag me, tag Padilla Cigars. Yeah, this is great. This has been the Lost Chapter, and I'm super impressed. So thanks for watching, and take care. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Cheers.